Hello everyone,
Evening.
thank you for joining us today. Today we at Shreyas Global are honored to have with us Mr. Rajeev Sharma, our senior advisor and mentor with over 36 years of distinguished service at Bureau of Indian Standard, where he retired as Deputy Director General Standardization. Mr. Sharma brings unparalleled expertise in conformity assessment, standardization policy, and international standard development. He is also a proud recipient of prestigious IEC 1906 award. We are privileged to have him lead this session on the overview of BIS. Thank you very much, sir. Again, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ramanujan. In fact, it's my privilege to be addressing all of you on this very important subject, which is very close to my heart. You have rightly said it is the backbone of quality infrastructure in India. Quality, as you all understand, quality is very important nowadays. Whatever you're manufacturing, I'm sure that most of you are from the manufacturing background or from a factory perspective. Also, joining this meeting for understanding the concepts of how the quality plays an important role in overall trade. See, to be very clear about the things, to set the things in perspective, see, India was the 10th largest economy in the world about 10 years back. And just a few months back, we were the fifth largest economy. Presently, we are the fourth largest economy, and we have the ambition to become the third largest economy in few months from now, few years from now. That's the growth. That is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, that we have to grow in our economy. We have to take steps so that our economy grows. And how we can do it? Yes, he has pointed out certain pointers. In order for us to grow as a nation, our industry has to grow. The product quality of the quality of our products and services needs to be excellent, at par with the best in the world. Not only that our consumers get the best quality product, but our manufacturers, our industries should be capable to produce goods which are accepted across the world. And how do we do it? And we have the ambition to become the developed nation by the year 2047. That is a huge task, and only about 22 years more to go, and a lot of things need to be done. See, the vision of the Prime Minister says that we have to do things at large scale, because India is a big country, not small here and there. Small measures will not help us. We have to do things at large scale so that the entire gamut of industry and population is impacted by it. And because there is a time limit set to it, we have to do things at speed. So scale and speed. So, and another S is required for that. That is skills. Our industry, our people who work in these industries need to be skilled. They need to have the right kind of knowledge to do the better things, to do things which are required, which are accepted, which are required for the industry to grow. And I can tell you that these three S's, the speed, the scale, and the skills, they can all be impacted by another S, standards. Standards can help us in providing the scale. Standards can help us in providing the skills and also the speed at which the things are required to be done. So, what are standards? Now, basic question is and I look forward for some response from some of some of our colleagues who have joined here today in the call. I will look for some response. What do we understand by standards? But firstly, what do we mean by the word quality? Why is quality important when we are manufacturing the product and it is being sold in the market and there is demand for the product? Then what is quality? Have we thought about it? Have we thought about the concept of quality in the production which we have, and the consequences of not producing the right quality products in our factory? Have we ever thought about it? And what are standards? How can standards help in providing quality? See, quality is something which meets customer expectations. Whatever meets customer expectations is quality. And it is our responsibility as a manufacturer or provider of goods or services to ensure that we understand what customer expects from us. And customer expectations or fulfillment of the needs of the customer is what is quality. This is the basic definition. How the customer needs are fulfilled. The needs can be stated needs, they could be expectations. So we have to clearly understand what are the stated needs of the customer and what are the expectations. And when we talk of different products, quality will have different approach, different perspective. For example, if we talk of a product which is an electric product which is used in a house, normal household, the product, let us take about an electric iron, which is in the house, every house uses an electric iron. And if we talk of quality of that electric iron, what do we understand by the concept of quality? Quality to me in the electrical scenario would mean how safe it is, how good it performs, how much energy it consumes, and what are the performance requirements for that product. So, safety, performance, reliability, durability, all these aspects which are related to customer satisfaction of that product come under the heading of quality. And when we define the quality of that product in terms of all these basic parameters, we have also to define how the product needs to be tested in order to ensure that the production which we are doing in our factory meets those requirements. So the performance parameters and the associated test methods, these are the combinations, these are the basic requirements which we as a standardizers need to consider. So the standardization basically means identifying the product parameters which the product must fulfill and also defining the methods by which it has to be tested. And only after it has been tested as per the required procedures, the standard procedures, only can we be sure that the product meets the requirements of quality. So now brings us to the question, who decides what parameters must be fulfilled in that product? It is the Bureau of Indian Standards. It is the Bureau of Indian Standards because it's not that just that it's a government organization, but it has been mandated by the government, by the Act of Parliament, the Bureau of Indian Standards Act 2016, that BIS is the national standards body of India. That means the standards which are produced by the Bureau of Indian Standards, they have the stature of being the national standards, the Indian standards. We know that different organizations also can make standards. Different government organizations like railways have their own standards. FSSAI has their own standards. Right? Similarly, there are other organizations who have their own standards. For example, the DOT, the Department of Telecommunications, they have their own standards. But in order for a standard to be called an Indian standard, the national standard, it has to be rooted through the process of Bureau of Indian Standards because it's the national standards body. And now I would like to come to the brief presentation, which will explain the various aspects of how the standards are prepared. These are the general questions which I think everybody has in his mind. How do the standards impact quality? What are the functions which Bureau of Indian Standards does? Is it something which has come up right now very recently, or was it there a long time ago and we were not aware about it? How it has impacted our business suddenly? These are some of the questions, and I can go through the presentation now, and let us see whether our questions, our issues in this regard are addressed. So I'll take you through the presentation. Mr. Ramanujan, can you confirm my screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
So I will take you through the journey of the Bureau of Indian Standards. Bureau of Indian Standards, if you can see, this is the road map. It was constituted in the year 1947. If you see the date, it is on 6th of January. It is prior to the Indian independence. So the BIS was formulated, so it's nothing new which has come about. It is there for as long as India is an independent country. So even beyond that. So we are there for a very long time in this standardization arena. And as the name suggests, earlier we were known as the Indian Standards Institution. The Indian Standards Institution Act was there, and that gave us the stature of being the Indian standards body, not the national standards body came much later. So the Bureau of Indian Standards also started the ISI marking scheme, which is the name corresponding to the Indian Standards Institution, the ISI mark, which is very famous. So it started in the year 1952. And then the BIS Act got the name of the organization changed from the Indian Standards Institution to the Bureau of Indian Standards in the year 1986 through the Act of Parliament. And then another milestone was the year 2000 when we started, the Bureau of Indian Standards started the hallmarking activity. Hallmarking, as you all aware, is a scheme which guarantees the purity of precious metals, gold and silver and so on. And the current revision of the BIS Act is the 2016 version, which came out in the year 2016 and was implemented with effect from 12th of October 2017, which makes BIS the national standards body. And Bureau of Indian Standards is headquartered in New Delhi. There is an office near the ITO, the Income Tax Office, which is the Bureau of Indian Standards headquarters. But there are 38 branch offices across the country. We are located in almost all the state capitals, and we are catering to the entire length and breadth of the country through the network of BIS offices. And not only offices, there is a network of testing laboratories, which are all associated with the certification activity. So, what are the core activities of the Bureau of Indian Standards? We are all familiar that they're doing a lot of certification activity, a lot of licensing is required from Bureau of Indian Standards. But I can tell you there are three major activities of the Bureau of Indian Standards. The first one, of course, is standardization. Standardization forms the core, the basic, without which certification cannot operate. So standardization basically means, as I told you earlier, identifying what quality parameters are to be set for the product and what test methods need to be there for the product. And then, based on the standard which has been prepared, certification can operate on with respect to that standard. Certification basically means compliance to the standards, compliance ascertained by an authorized agency. In our case, Bureau of Indian Standards itself operates the product certification, which means that the standards which have been formulated, whether they are being correctly implemented by the industry to ensure the quality of the product, is through the process of certification, or more widely, it is known as the process of conformity assessment. Conformity assessment basically means whether the product is conforming to the requirements of the Indian standard. And that conformity can be by two means. It can be by assessment and verification of the plant where the product is being manufactured, and also by testing the actual testing of the product in a testing laboratory, where the product is subjected to all the tests parameters of the standard by a well-defined testing method, and then coming out with the results that the product meets the requirements of the standard. So standardization, certification, and laboratory testing. These are the core activities of the Bureau of Indian Standards. Yes, most of this information is available on the BIS website, bis.org.in. This is a website which I think everybody should take note of. All information, what is updated, how many standards are there, what schemes for certification are there, what are the testing laboratories, where I can get my product tested in order to get it certified. All these details are available in the BIS website, which is the bis.gov.in. I'll be sharing you some important links at the end of this presentation, which will take you directly to some of the resource materials where these are located on the BIS website. Very concisely, we must also understand how the standardization process works. What is the process? See, it is not that it is somebody is writing a novel or a literature or something on its own. It is a group activity. It is a consultative process. Standards are written by a group of people in the committee structure. The committee comprises of technocrats, scientists, industry associations, government bodies, academic institutions, consumer organizations, testing laboratories, other users, and all these stakeholders get together who have any kind of interest on that product or service. and any knowledge on that product. These are all technical experts sitting there and deliberating what product requirements must be, what must be the test methods. All of them sit together to define the product quality. This is how the standardization is processed, and this is how the standards are formulated. So the technical committees comprises of all these stakeholders: consumers, industry, policymakers, professional bodies, academia, R&D institutions. Through a committee structure, they have a consultative process, and they follow what is known as the principle of consensus. Means there should be a common agreement to all the requirements which have been stated in the standard. Then the draft is prepared, which is circulated for public commenting, because not everybody was involved in setting up of standards. So there is a period for public commenting. All these comments are then collated, and through a final consultative process, the standard is prepared. And they follow the principles of good standardization, which is the process has to be transparent. There is no hidden measures, but it has to be fully transparent. It has to be open. Open would mean that anybody who has any interest on that subject uh, should be able to participate in the standardization process. So it has to be open. It has to be impartial and consensus based. It can't be partiality. There has to be prevented. We can't be partial towards large industry or a particular kinds of industry. So it has to meet the expectations of all kinds of industries. And there has to be consensus, means there has to be a common agreement on whatever requirements go into the standard. Standards, of course, need to be effective and relevant. They can't be something which is outdated. They don't serve the requirements of the date. So they have to be effective. They have to be relevant to the times. Standards need to be coherent, because there are large number of standards. At the moment, there are more than 23,000 standards which have been published. So they have to be coherent in their thinking. Different standards cannot be expressing diverse opinions. So they must all be aligned towards a common understanding of that concept. So we have to also take care of the development dimensions of the country, which means that the standard has to meet the requirements of India. India has typical conditions. We have our own geographical tropical climate. The standards probably which has been developed keeping in view the European requirements or elsewhere in the world may not be directly suitable for the Indian conditions. So whenever we are in the standards development process, we do take care of the international standards which are there on the subject, but we also evaluate whether these standards continue to be suitable and effective in meeting the Indian expectations or the Indian requirements. So when the standard has been published in India, that means it has been evaluated for suitability in the Indian circumstances. So this entire process is done through 17 different technical departments within BIS, which cover the entire gamut of technical activities like mechanical, civil, chemical, electrotechnical, food, and mechanical, and so on. So all these 17 different division councils of BIS, they develop standards concerning their own sub area of work. Services is an important activity which was recently established. As you are aware, our GDP now has a lot of component of services into that. So services also are now becoming very important for standardization activity. The latest the Technical Division Council, which was set up in BIS, is the Environment Ecology Division, which takes care of all the environmental aspects. As you know, ESG is now the requirements for the day, and also environment plays a very important parameter for any organization to operate. So environment and ecology division is the latest entrant. So we have 17 division councils on all the areas of technology. I'm sure that this slides can be made available through Mr. Ramanujan, and further details can be taken from these slides. I'll not go into this slide in details, but it basically means that how a draft, the proposer of that standard comes out with a working draft, which is then refined and discussed in a technical committee through a P draft. And then that P draft is circulated through wide comments. And when all those comments are received, they are each and every technical comment is evaluated in the technical committee, and then the finalized draft is prepared, and then that standard is established through the act through the gazette notification issued by the Government of India. So as I told you, it's not only the product standards, though the product standards take the limelight because all the certification operates against the product standards, but we require supporting standards on methods of tests, codes of practices, guidelines, terminology, services, and systems. These are the different kinds of standards which are there in existence. Life cycle of a standard means basically that the standard, once it is established, does not last for eternity. It doesn't mean that the standard will continue forever. It is subjected to periodic review, say once in 3 years for electronic goods and once in 5 years for other technologies. With standard, and also it can be much faster if the need is felt on that. And based on that periodic review, there are possibilities to amend that standard or revise it completely for all the requirements, or in fact withdraw it if it is obsolete. If there is no need for such a standard, the standard is withdrawn. And there is also a possibility to archive that standard, because sometimes it happens that not enough feedback is available with respect to the utilization of that standard. So that standard at the moment is archived. So these are the possibilities after that periodic review. Bureau of Indian Standards, being the national standards body, also collaborates with the international organizations like the ISO and the IEC, where the international standards are formulated. We have to be at the table where the international standards are being developed, because we have to make the voice of the Indian stakeholders being heard. Because otherwise, if the standards are developed, it becomes later imperative for us to adopt those standards as Indian standards. Because there is a global trade, because there is a WTO requirement that the international trade has to happen with respect to the products which meet the requirements of international standards. And if India does not take part in the international standardization process, that will mean that Indian requirements or Indian voice has not been brought on the table where the international standards were set. So our experts do participate and make our presence felt in those international standardization. And not only the technical committees, but I can tell you of the latest position is that we occupy some of the leading positions in governance level committees of these organizations. And our Director General is also the member of the board of the IEC and also the IEC. So these international organizations, they are now duly represented by Indian experts at governance levels and also at the technical committee levels. This is one slide which gives us the level of participation. You can have a look at it. These slides will be available to you. And apart from that, lot of thing now we are dependent on, not dependent on, we are collaborating with the various academic institutions. We are having MOU with more than 92. The current figure may be around 100 now, with all the educational top listed educational institutions in the country, all the IITs, all the NITs. They are having MOUs with BIS with respect to various work parameters, which basically means participating in the technical committees, contributing in the research and development, and so on. All the standards are now based on a proper research and development. It's not that just requirements coming from somebody and then putting it into the standard. Before the requirements are frozen in the form of standards, they must undergo a rigorous R&D process so that the standard, when it is formulated, becomes applicable and suitable for all the stakeholders. So a proper R&D has to be an integral part of the standards development process, and that is what is happening. And that is where the experts from various academic institutions in the country, the top academic institutions in the country, they are collaborating with BIS in development of the standards through R&D process. This is what I told you. R&D has become the integral part of a standards development process, and BIS also has a mechanism where they are funding these R&D projects to various institutions and various technical committee members who can take part in these R&D activities before the requirements are inbuilt into the standard. Now coming to the conformity assessment, this is I'm sure you are waiting for all the conformity assessment, because this is where the industry is most impacted and interested. Conformity assessment, as I told you, is nothing but certification. Means the product that we are manufacturing in our factories, that meets the requirements of the standard or not, is through a process of conformity assessment. Conformity assessment basically again means certification. So, yeah. So, certification now has various schemes. Not the scheme is the same scheme cannot be applied to different kinds of products and different kinds of services. So, based on the typical requirements of the particular product, different certification schemes are necessitated, and these schemes are developed as a requirement for typical requirement for that particular kind of industry or particular kind of product. So the there are others, of course, but there are common certification schemes are Scheme 1, Scheme 2, and Scheme 10, which are mentioned on the right side of the screen. And these are the certification marks. The ISA mark, as you know, is the very popular mark, which was the name of our founding organization, the Indian Standards Institution. So that mark continues to be the ISA mark, and that is still prevalent. The mark which you see on the uh, purple color on the top four squares, if you see, this is the mark related to the registration of goods. This is the scheme 2, which basically means the product has undergone a registration process, not a full-fledged certification, which is the ISA mark, but a registration. Registration is a scheme 2, which means that the product has been tested in an Indian laboratory and found conforming to the requirements of the standard, and that product has been registered with the Bureau of Indian Standards. But in this case, the factory inspection has not is not a mandatory. It's not a requirement. So it is registration is different from certification. That certification requires visit to the factory, assessing the conditions in the factory, assessing the availability of manufacturing facilities, competence of the technical person, and the sample drawn by the BIS inspecting officer from the factory and getting it tested, and also testing of the samples available from the market after the certification is granted. That is the scheme 1. That is the ISA mark scheme. But registration is not that. Registration is firm on its own, declaring the conformity of the product. So it's a self-declaration of conformity and supported by a test report from an Indian laboratory. Okay. So, so this is the difference between the scheme 1 and the scheme 2. Scheme 2 is basically registration. Uh, the other concept, of course, if you can see now, is the certificate of conformity. You may ask me what is the difference between the license and a certificate of conformity. It is quite simple to that effect, that certificate of conformity means a particular lot has been prepared, and that lot has to go to the market, and that lot has been certified as conforming to the standard. So it's not the ongoing production, it's not on a continuous basis, but only for that particular lot which has been certified as conforming to the standard. So it is certificate of conformity, COC. Whereas the license gives you the permission to produce that quality product with the license, with the ISA mark on a continuous basis over a period of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and continuously based on renewal of your license. So it's a continuous process. COC is one time only on that lot. So it's a lot inspection. And then there are other the square which you see in yellow is the certification of the systems. The ISO 9001 for quality management system, ISO 14001 for environment management system, and so on. So all these are management system certification schemes. So these are the four basic concepts: the ISA mark, the registration scheme, the certification of conformity, and the management system certification. And scheme 10, you will ask me also what is scheme 10. But before that, we'll come to this very important slide. Yeah, just a sec. So this slide tells us about what are the technical regulations and quality control in India. This is the latest position, and all of us must be aware about what a QCO means. QCO is nothing but a quality control order, which is brought down by the regulatory authority, which is the Ministry of the Government of India, to regulate the quality of goods which are coming into the country and also manufactured within the country. So these are the quality control orders for BIS certification, and these are the number of such quality control orders implemented already, means they are already valid, and non-compliance to these quality control orders would mean uh, not not will mean violation of the provisions of the BIS Act, and the quality control orders under implementation means some time is still available before these get finally implemented. And the last column tells us about the total number of quality control orders which have been issued by the government. So you will see various schemes. So for different products, a different number of QCOs have been brought out by the various regulatory authorities for different products, and this is the final outlay of the entire scheme. For example, Scheme 1, 143 quality control orders for 620 products. This has already been implemented, which means that these 620 products will not be sold in the market till they are certified as conforming to the requirements of Indian standards. So it's very clear, and there are penal provisions for contravention of these orders. So that means these 620 products must meet the requirements of Indian standard before they are sold in the market. And 72 more products, they are still under implementation. So that date of implementation of such quality control order is still in the future. Maybe another 5-6 months are available for the various other quality control orders. Scheme 2, as I told you, is a registration scheme. At the moment, there are 5 quality control orders covering 71 products, which is already implemented. These are basically all products related to electronics and information technology, also solar panels, and also some products related to textiles, and some products related to chemicals and fertilizers. So these schemes are already in place and implemented. So 71 such products are already under the quality control order, mandating the requirements of Scheme 2 means registration. And the Scheme 10 now, which is the talk of the town, talk of the country, and everywhere in the world, India is uh, getting uh, more famous because of the Scheme 10, which has been latest entrant into the scheme of things. It is a sea change compared to the other earlier existing schemes. It is the omnibus technical regulation, which has brought in 20 categories of machineries and electrical equipments, which are now mandatory for compliance to safety requirements against standards. So mandatory for the safety aspects. So these quality control order with respect to the OTR is still under implementation. The current date by which it will be implemented is 1st of September 2026. At the moment, the time is available, about 1 year and a few months are available for the people, for the industries to adopt these standards and get themselves certified before the product is sold into the Indian market. One common underlying fact for all the quality control orders is the requirement of the WTO, which means that there cannot be any differential treatment to the Indian manufacturers and the foreign manufacturers. So whatever the law related to the quality control order is applied to the within the country, that's equally implemented by the Indian manufacturers as well as the foreign manufacturers who intend to supply the product into the country. So it's an equal treatment or the level playing field, so to say, for all the people to participate in this process. So that is the omnibus technical regulation, which is to be implemented with effect from 1st of September. Hallmark, as you know, is a scheme which is for the purity of gold and silver jewelry. There is one product for gold purity, which is mandated across large number of districts. There are only very few districts which are not presently covered by this hallmarking scheme. Rest everywhere, the hallmarking of gold jewelry is a mandatory requirement. So if you come to the last column and the last row, you'll find that there are a total of 191 quality control orders and one OTR, which is the total ambit, which come under the ambit of the quality control legislation, covering about 774 products and 20 categories of machineries and electrical equipment. That is the final figure. It is not one product or two products, but such a large number of products now are under the mandatory quality control order regime of the government of India. But I can also tell you that there are other developed economies who have much higher number of products which are under their own directives, under their own legislations, which must meet their technical regulations before the product is sold into their markets. So we are also catching up. This is a natural process in the development of a nation. We don't want our markets to be flooded with substandard goods. That is not acceptable. Whatever the goods are provided to the Indian consumers, they must meet certain basic requirements of quality which are defined in the standards, and we cannot be allowed to continue as the dumping ground for substandard imported products coming in from other countries because of lack of regulations. It often sometimes happens that because there is no regulation, then the countries abroad they supply products which are not meeting the requirements of Indian standards into the Indian market. So we have to safeguard our own interest. It is our national requirement that we cannot allow our Indian markets to be uh, dumping grounds for substandard products and our people being taken for a ride. It's not the intention. That is why the government is so particularly serious about implementation of the quality control orders. So this is in the nutshell. There are 20 broad categories in the Department of Heavy Industries, covering more than 440 products which have been notified under the omnibus technical regulations. This ensures the safety of machines as per the standard. Another important thing which has come out recently is the horizontal quality control order on electrical safety. On electrical safety, that would definitely mean that anything which operates on electricity, anything which operates on electricity running on single phase less than 250 volts and three phase less than or equal to 415 volts AC and DC. All of these products must now come under the purview of the horizontal quality control order on safety of electrical and appliances. So all these products, shavers, frying pans, deep frying pans, warming plates, massage appliances, there are 707 products identified by BIS and various ministries for their consideration under QCO. That is another issue. So apart from this, there is a long list of 707 products which are at consideration level, that which are at the consultation level, because the concerned ministry also makes sure that all these stakeholders are involved in the setting up of these quality control orders. It's a very well defined, a very well managed consultative process in which all the stakeholders, all the voices are heard before the quality control order is finalized. So as I was telling you, this is the important resource links. If you want to have a look at whatever products are in the compulsory certification, just click on the link one. What are the upcoming QCOs? If you are interested in whether my product will fall within the ambit of any quality control order, kindly check the information available under the link upcoming QCOs. What are the products under the scheme one? What are the products coming under scheme two, which is the BIS CRS scheme? And what is the process of getting a license for a foreign manufacturer? The entire overview is given in this link. What are the frequently asked questions? It's a very well drafted, covering all the queries, covering all the clarifications. It is there in the frequently asked questions. And there is a registration portal for the OTR. As OTR, as I told you, is the scheme 10. That portal provides all the information with respect to that. If I can take you through one of these, which is very popular, which is the scheme 1, I'll just click on this. It will take you directly to the website where the information is available. This is the scheme 1. All the products, as I told you, that there are more than 700 products which are covered under the scheme 1, which is the BIS certification scheme. They are listed in this. They are listed along with all the details, like which ministry, which nodal ministry has brought out the quality control order with respect to these products. And in fact, if you click on the link, given here. The steel, the cement quality control order 2023. This will take you to the quality control order itself, where you can download that quality control order and get more details. Right. And all these products, for all the products, the related quality control order from the government of India is also listed here. So it's all the information available on one single portal. You don't have to search across to different portals or talk to different people or get information from different sources. One single portal can give you the details of all the Indian standards which are under the mandatory certification, and also take you to the concerned quality control order where these items have been brought out under the mandatory certification by the government of India. So I can close this here. And if I can go to the other one, which is the on the CRS, which is the scheme 2, which is the registration scheme, it will take you to the portal where the registration details with respect to the registrations are available. So as you can see here, there are 73 product categories which are under the product category, which are under the registration scheme. If you can just click that, it will also take you to the entire list of those 73 products which are under the registration scheme. So this is how the BIS website has been designed. It is very user friendly. And in fact, this particular page where the resource links are given can take you directly to the place where the required information is available for you. The registration portal, the OTR portal, again, is a very informative portal. And it gives you the link to the registration for the domestic manufacturers. The OTR registration steps. So again, all the steps which are required to be followed. You don't need to consult anybody for getting all the information. You just follow the steps which are there in the portal, and you'll be okay when you are able to submit the application process for the OTR scheme. And link to the registration of OTR for foreign manufacturers. This is separate. For domestic manufacturers, it is separate, and the registration steps are also mentioned. So this resource material is, as I told you, has been taken directly from the BIS website. So no intermediaries, nothing at all. The information is very well available from the BIS website. You can just have a look at it, and you'll be okay if you follow the steps given there. Another thing you might ask me about, how do I come to know whether my product is within the purview of BIS or not? So first of all, this is the thing to do immediately. You go to the App Store and download something known as the BIS Care app. BIS Care, C-A-R-E app. So this will be an app something like this, which is a very user-friendly app, which will has various links. Like the first link which I'll talk to you about is the Know Your Standards. You just type in the keywords related to your product, and it will take you to the Indian standard which is applicable on that product. And if you click on that Indian standard, it will give you the entire details of that Indian standard, including the technical committee where the standard was formulated, the composition of that technical committee, and any quality control order or any other government order related to that product. It will take you there, and also inform you about some other features like when the standard was revised and when is the next likely standard to be reviewed. And you can also express your interest to become a member in the technical committee. And if you so feel, you can comment on the existing requirement of the standard. You can do it right there from that app. And another important feature of this app is, which is mentioned on this slide, consumer can register their complaints against substandard products by following these steps. You go to this website, and if you find that the product available in the market has not met the requirements of quality, the consumer can go to this BIS Care app and file their complaint against the quality of the product. And BIS provides that guarantee to the consumers to get the replacement and redressal of that complaint. That's an integral part of the certification process. Once we are certifying the product to meet the certain requirements of the standard, it is also the responsibility of BIS to provide redressal in case the product does not meet the requirement of quality and the consumer grievances need to be resolved. So this is all, and of course, there's a 1800 number, which is a toll-free number, which is a facilitation number. Where any kind of query, any information which you need on any of these subjects can be available through this facilitation center. So it is, in the end, I would like to end here with saying that this is a consultative process, this is a collaborative effort, and the more people get involved in this collaboration, the things make a lot of difference. So if you feel strongly about the quality of your product, if you feel that you have the motivation or the aptitude to collaborate and participate, do get involved. It makes a lot of difference. So thank you all so much. This is how where I will end the presentation. But Mr. Ramanujan, if you feel there are certain questions or some feedback from participants, we can address them as well.
Yes, sir. Pradeep ji has asked one question. What is the frequency to obtain the QCO? Pradeep ji, can you please clarify your question?
Yeah, hi. Hello, sir. It was nice hearing you. So, hope I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
So, my question is the same. My product falls under this BIS, and I have applied for that product. So, should I frequently go and ensure that it's meeting the standards, or should I get the approval frequency, or one time approval is enough?
No, the question is not very clear that your product is within the QCO.
Yes. My product is with the QCO. So it's like once my product falls under the QCO, it's like there will be some mechanism to monitor it, right? So what is the mechanism to monitor it?
I will tell you. See, once you are now clear that your product falls within the purview of the quality control order, then now it becomes your responsibility to take certification from BIS. Because quality control order basically means that from now onwards, product will not be sold in the market till it is certified by BIS. So the first step you must do is approach Bureau of Indian Standards and get certification. Getting certification would mean that the rest of the things will be taken care by BIS. They will guide you on the requirements which require to be tested before the certification is granted. They will also suggest to you a certification or the quality assurance scheme, which will guide you regarding the frequency at which you have to get the various tests done. At moment, there are large number of industries who do not require to have their in-house testing facilities. Many of these tests can be outsourced to other recognized laboratories. So only the question will be that you have to get the tests done from a recognized laboratory at a stipulated frequency, which is different for different products, and submit the reports on a timely manner to Bureau. That's how the certification will continue.
Okay. Got
So
it,
the
sir.
first step is that you have to apply to BIS for certification.
Okay.
Anybody?
Hi, sir.
Second
My
question
name
is
Prakash.
from Mr.
Sorry.
Prakash ji. Second question is from Mr. Prakash ji. Sir, what is the ETA equipment type approval? So
What
is
is?
it related to this? ETA equipment type approval. Prakash ji, will you please elaborate?
Hello.
Yes.
Hope I'm audible, sir. Actually, I like to check whether is there any kind of ETA approval or ETA kind of letter given by the BIS authority, equipment type approval for the temporary registration of
No.
any product.
See, BIS,
Is it
type approval is all covered under the certification. So what we call is a certification, conformity assessment, and there are schemes of conformity assessment. As I told you, scheme 1 is the ISE mark, the certification. The scheme 2 is the registration scheme. Scheme 10 is the omnibus technical regulation. It's on the safety of machinery. So different kinds of certification schemes. Within these certification schemes, the there are tests related to type approvals which are done.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you. Thank
you. Next question is, sir, applicability of BIS for parts imported and used for export.
Applicability of BIS
For parts
certification.
imported and used for export.
So two things. Once the product is under the ambit of quality control order and brought under mandatory certification by the government of India, whatever production is coming into the country must meet the requirements of quality. There is an exception given to the products which will be incorporated and into the final product, finished product, and be exported to other countries. Those are exempted in certain cases, and such cases are duly mentioned in the quality control orders. So, not a blanket approval, but definitely there are certain lists of products which are exempted if that final product is to be exported. If the finally product is not meant for Indian consumption, those can be exempted from the quality control order. So that provision is there.
Any other exemptions, sir, other than export? Like any general exemption?
General exemptions are not there. There are, of course, there are certain exemptions related to the quantity which has been brought out recently. Those are but specific case to case. For that, we have to refer to the quality control orders. But in general, there is no such exemption. If the product is coming into the country and if that product is under the mandatory quality control order, the manufacturer of that product, wherever he is situated in the world, must comply with the BIS certification norms and must get its factory, in fact, certified from BIS before the product is shipped into the country.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Raj Kiran ji. One license for one product category, or we have to apply for every variant of same product category? Is there any grouping or consolidation available?
I think you are referring to the OTR, is it?
Raj Kiran ji, can you please explain?
Mr. Raj Kiran?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, sir, OTR only. Our product group is VFD. And VFD, we have several variants, several variety of products. So we have to apply for one product category because the application may differ and also the component may also differ. But the product category is same.
Yeah.
So should we apply for one license and go for it, or for every variant, for every group, we have to segregate like a group of like application wise or component wise, we have to segregate it because we have a large group of VFD and we have a several variety of this product, and this is a huge confusion for us what to do.
Yeah. So I'll explain once again. The Omnibus Technical Regulation, if you see the quality control order with respect to that, gives a list of 20 categories. You're talking of one of those 20, but there are 20 categories which have been listed within that. And when you are manufacturing or importing one of those 20, you fall within the ambit of that mandatory OTR. Now, those are 20 categories. As you told that within those categories, now there could be hundreds of different products. So the methodology is, and that is very natural, that the license has to be taken against a category. And one license can cover different variants of that category. Like one license, but that one license will cover all the different variants which are in that category. Will that answer the question?
So this license for the company, right? Not for individual product.
No. It's license for the manufacturing location. Company, not only company. Location. Each, like if the same product is manufactured in different locations, each of those locations must go in for certification. So a company which is located, if I'm talking, let us talk about India, within India. If the factory is located in Calcutta and also in Bombay, but their corporate office is in Delhi, and both these factories are manufacturing same categories of products, so they have to take separate licenses for different locations.
Okay.
right?
If it's from China, our
Yeah,
manufacturing in
so
China,
same process. The
same
process
process.
is exactly the same. There is no difference. Each factory location has to take license,
So
right?
just the location. If in same location, the variant, it doesn't matter. The product category, we have to take license for a product category. That's it, right?
Yes. So each location is examined in totality. Like one location offers one category has 10 variants. So that one location will be considered for one category and 10 variants. Another location will be considered for same category, another 10 variants, or maybe the same 10 variants. So once the factory location changes or different geographical locations of the factory, they need to apply separate license.
Okay. If that BIS people will audit that place, the particular place.
Yes, there is no
Okay.
difference. BIS people, it's not the question of BIS people, it is the certification process that the factory has to be audited before the certification is granted because it is scheme 10. Only under scheme 2, which is the registration scheme, the factory is not audited. It's only on the basis of the reports submitted. But because it is now scheme 10, the factory has to be audited for all the technical requirements before the license is granted to that factory.
And if the particular country have some already have some they have some standardizer. If in Germany or whatever the country is, they already follow some standardizer. Is there anything
Okay.
considered from them? Actually, that standard any from this BIS?
No, no, BIS, of course, then if they are following already some standards, that it makes the things a little easier for them, but doesn't make the process any simpler. The entire process for BIS, obtaining BIS license will be followed again.
Okay, sir.
Have to be followed, right? But your question is very well valid. You will come across several statements saying that within Europe or within some other countries, they are following much more stringent. 20 years they are following all these standards. Why doesn't BIS or why doesn't India straight away allow those products to be imported into the country? Well, agreed. You are following these. But now it is not a question of something superior or inferior. We are gone are the days where we should consider ourselves inferior and they should consider themselves superior. It is now the question of equality. And once the question of equality, that means we are looking at mutually acceptable terms. You accept our certification, we accept your certification. So the moment that happens, then our industry will be at an advantage to supply their products to Europe. Uh, Between yourselves, you can consider the people who supply to Europe and try to find out how easy or difficult it is. We are now coming to equal terms. That is the process. That is the process which has begun. That is, we accept mutual acceptance of each other's certification processes and results. If they accept our certification, we also accept their certification. That is how the agreements to trade, the free trade agreements which government negotiates with Europe, with UK, with Australia. This is how this free trade agreements work.
Okay, sir. Well understood, sir. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
Sir, hi, Akash here. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, sir. Although you already highlighted the point on the yes, international standards being a part of it, and so the products are already being in the market for quite some time. And let's say, sir, that same standards of quality has been shown. And but you have rightly said, yeah, on the equal terms, and then free trade agreements are coming into picture, so that would provide us a parallel on it. But sir, my question still remains on one point of thing. If you look at the technological development innovation side of things, majority of the products are theirs. The West, or maybe let's say any kind of innovations they come. Let's say they come with a new innovation, and that innovation is being certified by, of course, their agencies. Uh, but in our case, we may not have seen the product, or maybe we are seeing it for the first time. So in the cases like that, the process may take some amount of time. So I just wanted an opinion. What do you think about that? Apart from playing on the equal terms, yeah. Yes, sir.
I understood your question. It's very,
Yeah.
from your perspective, it's a very valid question. But
Yeah.
this issue has been deliberated in the government stakeholder engagements
Okay.
number of times, and this issue has been addressed number of times. But the government, it's the decision of the government, it's a strategic decision of the government that we are going to be on equal terms, and such things are subject to government strategic directions. So
Correct.
I have nothing
That's,
much to say on that. It's a
I
strategic government.
understand. Yes, I just wanted to know, sir, whether the strategic government lies in that or not.
It's
But I
a
think it's a fair enough. Perfect, sir.
strategic
Thank you.
government direction on this matter.
No, fair enough answer. So thank you, sir.
Next question is, sir, while checking the applicability of BIS, so whether we should check the components which we are importing or the finished products to be manufactured in India?
This is a slightly tricky question. See, sometimes what happens is that the components themselves will be also under the BIS certification mandatories. So in such cases, of course, you have to take care that the components which you are procuring also be at the BIS standards certification. But if they are not within the BIS certification, then of course those will get what you call an advantage, or whatever you can say, that those components can be imported into the country. If they are not under certification, if they are not under mandatory certification, then these rules will not apply, right? So the common understanding is that whatever product is under certification or mandatory certification, whether it is manufactured in India or imported from outside, they must all be at this BIS certification mark. And if the components are not within the QCO, they can be freely imported, of course, like they are being presently imported.
So can we say, sir, we have to check in which form the product is getting imported?
Yes.
Relevant for BIS.
We have to first see when we have identified our product, and we have also identified all the components which go into that product. It is now our responsibility to see what standards are applicable to those components also. Like for example, if you are manufacturing an appliance for which there are various components are applicable, like capacitors or wires or so many other things, first list down all the list of components which are applicable to that product, and see whether there is any other standard which is applicable to that product or not, and whether that is under mandatory certification or not. So that's how it has to be done.
Next, thank you very much, sir. Next question is from Santosh Ji. Are there any foreign labs approved by BIS where we can test the product for applicable BIS standard, specifically in EU, Europe, and for CRS products, ship spares? Please guide.
At present, no. The short answer is there is no lab outside of India which has been recognized. Only the laboratories within India, they are recognized for testing the products for conformity. And for your information, the BIS website is very clear about all the laboratories which have been recognized by BIS. You can have a look at the list of laboratories. It is very well laid down list. Just simply put in the IS number or the Indian standard number, and it will give you all the recognized laboratories within India which have been recognized for that product. So if the laboratory is not in that list, that means it is not recognized. At present, there is no foreign laboratory which is recognized. This is again this is again a strategic decision of the government of India.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next question is, sir, here exporter to conform to global standards, then such restrictions on inputs would impact.
If you are exporter, then certain relaxations are available to you. If you are exporting that product, then whatever components you are importing with respect to that product, you get relaxations. Advanced licensing and even otherwise some relaxations are available. Right, and particularly for steel components, like you have to basically apply for an NOC kind of a thing from the Ministry of Steels, that is the Steel Information Management System. There is a SIMS portal. The second version is now available there. So any import, particularly with respect to any grade of steel which you are procuring, you have to first take the NOC. NOC would be in case if the product is not BIS certified. Any grade of product which you want to import within the country without BIS certification, first an NOC would be required. So that's the way the NOC process works. And if you are able to justify that my product which I am procuring from outside will again be inbuilt into a product which will be exported, then that can become a valid reason for this NOC. Because in that case, we believe that the requirements of the importing country will take precedence. They will be important because that final product will not be sold in the Indian market. It's going to be sold in the importing country. So the requirements of that country will take prominence.
Yes. Very much, sir. Next question is from Krishna Kumarji. For small volume importer, whether any exemption is given, example, drive belts for imported vehicle.
Drive belts for
imported vehicles. Is there any exemption for small volume, sir?
In some quality control orders, such exemptions are there, but it is not a blanket exemption. You have to look at it case to case on different quality control orders. But drive belts, I'm still not able to understand which quality control order does it fall under.
Krishna Kumarji.
Which particular quality control order you are talking about, sir? Mr. Krishna Kumar.
In that scenario, sir, I think the specific QCOs can be referred.
Yes. Let me be very clear on that. It is not the Bureau of Indian Standard which brings about the quality control order, but within the BIS Act, there is a provision under Section 16 which says that the central government, after consulting Bureau of Indian Standards, if they feel it is necessary and expedient to do so, under the reasons of health, safety, plant, animal health, national security, unfair trade practices, under such circumstances, Government of India can bring a product under the mandatory certification. So the line ministry or the regulatory authority in such cases is the Ministry of Government of India. So all these quality control orders are brought in by the Government of India through various ministries. And any exemption or relaxation which is to be sought, they are the concerned people who can provide these.
Next question is, sir. BIS is mandatory for product which intended to be used is in R&D laboratory or manufacturing unit, not intended for sale.
That's what I'm saying, that in case of such relaxations under specific circumstances, it is best that such requests can be addressed to the concerned regulatory authority. They have within their powers to grant such relaxations. So such relaxations need to be obtained from the concerned government ministry who has issued the quality control order. Right. So, but they are open to such relaxations, that I can tell you. Under specific conditions, when the case is strong, such relaxations are possible.
Shashi Kumarji, I hope your question got answered.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Next question is from Pualji. Manufacturer is in Singapore with BIS certified product and the supplier is supplying the same product from Thailand, who is not the registered person or the manufacturer. How it will be treated while imported into India? Whether the supplier also need to get certified for the same product?
It is the manufacturer who has to take certification, and the country of origin is an important requirement.
So can we say in simple terms, sir, BIS requirement is plant-wise and product-wise?
Yes, plant-wise, and the product being manufactured in that plant. The license is given to the manufacturing location, not to the trading location, not to the marketing agency, not to anybody else.
Thank you, sir. Next question is, sir, from Sylvester Ji. What is the average cost of BIS certificate if my supplier is from China, and how many days it takes?
See, BIS website is very, very transparent in that manner. It is not like many other countries. They just say that it has to be on quotation. They will examine your things and give you the final quotation. BIS website is very, very open in this matter. There is a license which is actually, compared to other countries, it is just peanuts. 1,000 rupees for application fee, 7,000 rupees for visiting fees, and then very nominal kind of charges for annual marking fees. So all these details are available on BIS website. If you just happen to just Google it, the BIS marking fees, the BIS certification fees, you will get it, and it will take you to the BIS website where these details are available. So there are hardly any cause of concern. We have never received any representation concerning that the BIS marking fee is very high with respect to it. It's very nominal fees.
Sure, sir. Next question is from Sasi Kumar Ji. We obtained Department of Scientific and Industrial Research certificate issued by Ministry of Science and Technology. We are R&D unit, so are we exempted from BIS?
As I told you, such exemptions you have to address to the concerned ministry who has issued that quality control order. They are the best. They are the only people, in fact, who can give you such relaxations, and they are open to that. And if you can justify that it is purely for R&D, you are procuring this item in small quantity only for the R&D purpose, they can provide you such relaxations. But the case has to be made. You have to justify your claim and submit it to the right ministry to do that.
Thank you, sir.
Next question is, sir, from Satish Ji. Whether BIS certificate is required for power supply adapter along with weighing machine and balance?
Adapters are covered. No? Adapters are covered under the registration scheme.
That means CRS scheme.
Yes, CRS scheme.
Okay, sir. I think we have answered all the questions, sir.
But I think, Sharmaji, this is a very good interactive session. I think we have answered a number of queries, but I'm sure that during the course of our further analysis, there will be a number of such repeated queries. There will be a number of typical situations which will need to be addressed. And yes, whosoever has participated in today's discussions are welcome to put their queries on email. We'll be happy to go through all these emails and provide you a response on all your queries.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
On behalf of everyone who has joined and the entire team at Sirius Global, I extend our heartfelt thanks to Mr. Rajeev Sharma for delivering such an insightful and enriching session on the overview of and implication of BIS. Your deep experience and practical insights and clarity on standardization framework have truly added immense value to all of us, sir. Thank you once again, sir, and thank you everyone. So if anyone has any query or would like to discuss specific aspect in more detail, please feel free to contact us so we can have a specific session also related to the organization.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.